All right, we're live. Episode number 3. Risk it for the Biscuit podcast, baby. Um, we are back. It is Monday, I think February 6th. Let's get after it, man. So many things to talk about, so many things happening. And I'm just excited for this week. Um, yeah, uh, episode number 3, man. This is the farthest I've ever gotten on a podcast attempt thing. So uh, I am excited for that. I think it's going to be cool. As you can see so far, next week we're gonna have some upgraded quality, upgraded stuff. We're getting some equipment in, and you know, it's gonna be cool. Even though it's not like perfect, everything we want it to be yet, we're getting better, and that's the exciting part. It's actually the first thing I want to talk about this morning. Um, is just what I'm experiencing with this whole process. Because before I did this, I had this theory on how to like be successful in projects or in any endeavors you're undertaking. And it's kind of cool uh, to see, at least for myself, obviously the outside results or whatever. But I always had this theory about, just making a plan and sticking to it. And that can be the most surefire way, I feel like, to being successful. Um, Here's what I mean by that: making the plan. A lot of times when you're going into something, especially something new, and you've never done it, I think about many examples, right? Starting going to the gym, starting, a new semester of school, starting a business per se, starting a new hobby, starting, I would say, let's say a podcast, right? And it's something new, something you've never done before, something you've never tried. You know where to start. There's two ways to approach it, right? First way, you're gonna sit there, analyze everything, make plans, spreadsheets, put everything together, right? Try to get the best quality, try to, do the best job that you can. And that's not a bad way to do it. But what I've seen and what I've experienced with that is when you spend too much time planning everything out, right? Trying to get every little detail uh, down and figured out, you don't see as much success with that, because what you're doing is you're spending so much time planning things out, doing hypotheticals, right? Going over stuff like that, but you're not actually doing anything. You're not actually taking action. So what I've experienced, and this isn't the first time I would say, but I think it's a better way to find success and make progress with things, is you make a rough plan, right? So say you want to go to the gym. You say, I mean, I've done this before with the gym, because there's, I guess, times in my life where I'm super, super motivated and times where I'm not motivated at all. But you just make a rough plan like, hey, I'm just gonna get into the gym. That was the first step, right? Get into the gym every day for 3 days. I'm just gonna go boom, boom, boom. I'm just gonna get there. I'll be around there. I'm gonna just do something, right? Get active. And then once you complete that part of the plan, what happens is you have a little bit more experience. You have a little bit like more hands-on learning with it. And then what you do next is you take that experience, you take that plan, even though maybe it wasn't a good plan, but now you have something to build off of and see progress that way, right? So you say, okay, 3 days I'm going to the gym and I'm just gonna, do a little full body workout, for example, just anything. But now you're thinking about the gym. Maybe you look up some more workouts. You look up some different splits, right? And and with that, you're gonna see a more sped up progress if versus if you were to just sit at home, not go to the gym, and just spend, a month researching what's the best workout plan, what's the best diet, what's the best clothes to wear, what's the best shoes to wear to work out in, right? You're researching all these little things, but you just spent a month sitting there, not actually doing anything, not going to the gym, not making any progress. So whatever you're doing, right, in any aspect, right, school, work, project, doing something new, just start. Just make a rough plan. That's why I'm so excited about this whole thing, because I'm just sticking to the plan, right? I don't really know what I'm doing yet still. Episode 3 though, look at that, episode 3. Um, and you just got to stick to the plan. Whether the plan is perfect or not, you got to stick to the plan. Whether you see results right away, stick to the plan. All right, and then you're gonna, as you go along, because right, you can fail. The plan might not be perfect, but like I said, it gives you a like a an extra building block, because when you make this, when you execute the first part of the plan, right, and you actually do it, it gives you that much more experience, and and then you can build off of that. Right, you can tweak the next plan going in. You know that, okay, doing it this way is not the most effective. Doing it, it's better to do something else. You have all that experience, and the key is that you were taking action in this whole time. You know, you were actually doing something. You were getting things done. You weren't just sitting there hypothetically imagining things or whatever. So that's that, man. And I'm excited for what's to come. For the next part of all this planning and stuff like that, um, I do have some goals. So just stick with it. Stick with me. Um, I haven't been, no one's even seeing this stuff because I'm not like promoting it or anything. I'm not posting it anywhere. But I think once we get this down and uh, we figure out exactly what I want to do, because I watch a lot of podcasts, I listen to podcasts, and I'm trying to kind of find my own little, I don't know what the word is, man, like niche or like the style of the podcast, right? There's some podcasts like comedian podcasts, right? They don't really prepare much for anything. They just kind of talk, right? There's more like business style. And the thing that I realized after the first two podcasts, the first two episodes, I don't really want it to be like a serious, you know, like a news reporting podcast. That's for sure. Um, I would like it to be funny, but I don't know. I'm not really a comedian, but I would want it to be more of that style versus the like the serious news I'm reporting. I don't want to do that. That's because then you know I have to focus about being accurate and fact checking and research and everything. I just want to kind of, you know, uh, give my feedback on how I see things. Um, yeah, and I don't want it to be like I don't want it to have a specific I don't want it to have a specific like genre, like politics or you know, or like Christianity. I don't want it to be like a specific thing because I feel like that kind of you know restricts in what I can talk about. You know, I don't want it to have a theme. It's just risk it for the biscuit. You know, we're just chopping it up, talking about whatever you know, whatever's going on in the world, and I think that kind of gives the freedom to really talk about a lot of different things, and you know, get into a lot of different things, a little bit of each kind of thing. And that's kind of what I'm interested in. I'm interested in a lot of things, man. I like, I mean, growing up now, you know, I'm older, so I do kind of, I am interested in politics a little bit. You know, how does it work? What is it? You know, things like that. Why do certain things mean this, right? Why are we making certain decisions? So what's a good policy? What's a bad policy? You know, kind of following up who's doing what. I like sports, grew up playing sports, so um, you know, if I would like to talk about that a little bit, right? What's going on in the sports world? Um, what else? You know, I'm a Christian, love Jesus, so and I want to talk about that as well, and you know, so that's the reason why I don't really want to pick a niche or a genre or a specific thing for the podcast because I just want to talk about anything and everything, and so I'm excited to see how all this unfolds. And yeah, I also have plans. You know, I don't want to do this by myself. Another thing I have learned from the first two is I don't like this whole monologue thing, right? I need to have someone to do this with, like a co-host or something, because it's the conversation for me. That's the reason I listen to podcasts. I don't really listen to podcasts. It's just one person. I like listening to conversations. Like I said, I think in the first one or second one, first episode, you know, that's kind of the way I learn is conversations. And so you need to have conversations. But that's something I'm gonna work on, and you know, it's gonna work out. Like I said, make the plan, execute the plan, and we'll figure everything else out later. There's really a couple things I want to talk about that were interesting to me. from the weekend, and I saw this morning crazy stuff going on as well. Um, but the first thing, unless you live under a rock, you've probably seen about this China balloon, this Chinese spy balloon, that was, you know, floating over the U.S. and they did end up shooting it down. And I was reading this Wall Street Journal article here, and it's kind of stating everything, what to know. So just like a brief recap, I guess, right? So this balloon, spy balloon, floated. It says up, it was over Alaska, over there's some islands, Canada. Um, I think it's saying for the total of 8 days, and then the Air Force shot it down over South Carolina, and I mean, just absolutely insane to me personally. I was furious. Friday and everything, just hearing all this stuff. I don't understand how this happens. Um, I'm just reading a little bit here. So the balloon was first detected over Alaska's Aleutian Islands on January 28th. The Pentagon only disclosed the airship's presence on Thursday when it was over Montana. So that's like what? I think February 3rd or 2nd. Thursday was 2nd. Over Montana. Montana is home to U.S. land-based nuclear missile silos. I don't know what that is, but nuclear missiles, that doesn't sound very good there. It said the balloon traveled over several, in quotes, sensitive areas. Insane to me, man. It was there. We knew that it was there January 28th, and to not really do anything with it for 8 days is insane to me. Ridiculous. It violated sovereign airspace. Uh, I just don't understand how that happens, right? And for me, the main concern here is that, uh, I mean, it just shows the state of our leadership in the United States, right? And you can blame the president, whatever, but I mean, the president wasn't the first one to see this thing. He wasn't the first one to be alerted of it, right? You know, I'm imagining, right, in the military, there's other offices and stuff like that, and it's like we just let this happen to us, right? This Chinese spy balloon thing just floating over the U.S. over sensitive areas, nuclear is just spying on us, and we just did nothing. I mean, and the thing is, like, it's like I'm seeing like really no like it feels like we're not seeing any like outrage. Like why how's not everyone like angry about this, man? It's I mean, I can't even like put into words exactly how frustrating this is. Right. I mean, you see, I saw a lot of other. I just look at commentary on it because I'm just interested to what people have to say. It's like imagine if we did that over China. What would that, uh, what would their reaction be? Right? You think they would just let it float over all their sensitive areas of whatever they have? I mean, I doubt it. Right? And that's the concerning part, right? Is having weak leadership. I mean, and because a lot of these politicians, me and you, we vote them in, and they all run on their little campaigns, right? We just had elections, they're gonna, make some changes. They're gonna lead us as a country, right? That's why we cast our votes for them, and then you have dumb stuff like this taking place. Ridiculous. It's not. I mean, we are supposed to be the greatest military. We spend the most. If not the top three. You know, we spend all this money on military, and we can't detect a balloon, man. I mean, we did detect a balloon. Hopefully, I mean, according to this article, we detected it. We saw it. We didn't do anything about it, man. Weak leadership in tough times is one of the most concerning things. It can be very, I feel like, Very bad, for lack of better words. Very, very concerning for our leaders. Um, I think I saw Patrick Bet David. He was saying, America should not be for sale. That was another part that people were saying that, yeah, of course, the reason it floated over the whole thing was because we kind of were forced to let it almost. And if that's the state of our politics, man, that's concerning as well. You know, if politicians are being bribed and bought and sold for, to be able to for other countries to have access. It's ridiculous, man. I think when you become, a politician, you become any position of leadership in this country, right? What do they all swear to, right? Protect the Constitution of the United States, right? And protect it from enemies, foreign and domestic. Do your job, man. Do your job. Protect it. Protect us. You're representing us, the people, right? I think if you're a politician, right, regardless whether you're left or right or the middle, but you are here in the United States, your absolute priority should be the United States, making this place better, keeping this place safe. That should be the number one thing. And if it's not, I think that should be a a question to ask all these knuckleheads running for any type of office, right? Senator, congressperson, whatever, House of Representatives. Do you actually love America? Like, what is your motive? Because it seems like these people are, they just want to get into this little position and trade stocks, you know, make money off, insider information almost. That's what it seems like. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous, man. I was thinking about it, right? We vote them in, right? We are their bosses, right? They should be subject to us. It's almost like politics in America, especially, has just been flipped upside down. Like these guys are these all powerful people that do stuff. No, right? It says democracy, right? Or the by the people for the people. Come on, man. Ridiculous. I hope we. I mean, I don't know how to change it or what's going to change or if it's going to change or I don't have the answers. It's just frustrating um, to see stuff like this, right? And then China's in this article. It says China said that it's just a civilian craft for designed primarily for meteorological study, which blew off course. And they said that it was us shooting it down was a serious violation of international practice. What does that mean, and how is that even like? How is that even being accepted as a response? If it was an accident, if this thing really blew off course, they should have been in communication with us, letting us know. The only reason they even made comments on it is because we saw it. If we didn't see it or detect it, I doubt they would have ever said anything. Terrible, man. It feels like, we've been completely violated, is what it feels like. How is, they said, how do they even have the audacity to be like, oh, it's just an aircraft, we're just gonna fly over your country. If you go up in a hot air balloon, they'll shoot you down for violating airspace. Like if you go up, without authorization or whatever, if you just put a hot air balloon in your backyard and you just go, you don't tell nobody. Ridiculous, man. I remember we took a helicopter tour. You have to get permission. We did a helicopter tour over Atlanta. We did something else in Orlando where we're flying. Them boys are always in communication with the people on the ground, letting them know, hey, we're going into here. And I was talking to the pilot. He says, you have to get permission on how high and low you're flying over certain areas. I think we're flying over the baseball stadium or the Mercedes-Benz. You can't fly. You can't fly at certain altitudes, at certain distances without permission. And these boys are just allowed to have this balloon coast over. It's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. I wish there was a way we could, hold these politicians more accountable. I mean, man, I love America. I love this country, and it's kind of crappy to see everything that's going on and the way everything's taking place. Um, but yeah, I guess we'll see how all that goes. We'll see how all that goes. Um, I wasn't actually planning on saying anything about this, but I remember I think Kyrie Irving got traded. Um, Kyrie Irving. Just wanted to mention that, right? He goes to the Mavericks. That should be cool with Luka Doncic. Anyway, I don't want. I'm not gonna talk about that. Let's see. Let's see here. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff happening in the world. Crazy stuff happening in the world, man. Um, and speaking of crazy stuff, I saw this morning. So I have this thing. I try not to go on social media till about 10 in the morning, just to kind of not be distracted. I don't want to wake up first thing in the morning and just receive content, news, updates about everything. I want to kind of get up and get myself going a little bit, right, and kind of be focused in the mornings. For some reason, I didn't do that. I kind of opened my Instagram this morning, and I saw the situation in Turkey with the earthquakes. I didn't look into this at all. Um, Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't look into it at all, but it was just crazy to see. Right, as soon as I saw it, first thing that came to my mind, right, is I'm a Christian, so the book of Revelations, obviously, or what Jesus said, I think, in Matthew. Oh, talking about the end times, and I don't really want to talk about all that. I'm not really, uh, I guess, educated on all that to really talk about it. And But I guess if you are watching this and you don't believe in God, right? I think that's one thing to. I mean, it's one thing I would recommend really, really, really looking into, man. Um, I mean, it's the most, to me, the way I see it, it's the most important question you got to answer. You have to figure out. I think the best way to really do it is, I mean, you got to figure out who Jesus is. You got to figure out if he was real, which I believe there's enough evidence to, I mean, everyone, even atheist scholars, admit that he was real. But you got to figure out, is he who he says he is, and did he do what he said he did? Right? Those two questions right there. Because if that's true, oh man, I think it changes a lot of things for people if you realize that that is true. Because I think, I mean, it literally flips everything upside down, right? The way you're living is going to change, right? The reality changes because if Jesus is who he says he is and he did what he said he did, it makes the Bible true. It makes the things in the Bible true. It makes what Jesus said true. And he said a lot of things about what's going to happen in the future. And I mean, I'm not sitting here this morning saying, we are in the end times or the signs around us uh, point to us being in the end times. But, they asked the disciples asked Jesus, right, what's going to happen at the end. He said, In the end times, there's going to be wars and rumors of wars, be natural disasters, I think famine, you know, disease, sickness, stuff like that. And you know, with a lot of things going on in the world today, it's almost like, hey, the Bible's kind of is a little bit accurate, I would say. And obviously, there's a lot of other signs and things like that, you know. But I feel like there's a lot of prophecy, a lot of things written in the book, that we can kind of look at and be like, oh man, I don't see any other book really predicting things like this and being accurate. Um, and I think there's some, I believe, I'm actually curious. Let's see. Look at that. We have Google, so we can look stuff up and not have to wait on prophecies. Bible's full of prophecies. I'm not gonna find it. It's gonna take too long. But there's a lot of prophecies in the Bible that we can point to and take a look at and see them being fulfilled. And I was thinking about this. If there was any other source of information that was 100% accurate on its predictions up to a certain point, what were the odds that the rest, you could trust the rest to be accurate, right? Like if you had a gambling handbook that was written, let's say in 1990, and it was about from 2020 up to 2020 or to 2030, right? And it said that it correctly predicted games, everything, sometimes even scores. If it correctly 100%, it was never wrong. It's always accurate. Uh, and had the rest of the decade. Would you trust that going forward? I mean, it makes a compelling argument, I would say. So to all my friends, if you watch this, you don't believe in God, um, people, oh, don't put your religion on me, whatever. I'm not putting anything on anybody. I'm just asking questions, man. Uh, look into it. That's all I would say. That's all I would say. You look into it, man, and I would really, really get serious about it. It's Jesus changed everything for me personally, and I mean, I feel like it's the most important question that you need to answer. 100%. The most important question. Changes everything. Changes the way you live your life now. Changes eternity. Um, and man, eternity's a long time. A very long time. I would encourage you to figure that out. Um, but yeah, man, that's really all I was going to talk about today. I'm more excited to kind of see the progress, and for next week, we'll see episode 4. Still haven't really told anyone about all this, but yeah, I think I'm gonna try something else out. As regards to topics and things like that. Kind of the only thing is, see, I'm still in school, and man, a lot of time, effort put into all that. So it's kind of hard to juggle everything and really come up with like a concrete plan. I still have a plan, but like a more legit plan. But we're gonna still keep posting, still making progress. I think also in these first couple of episodes, it's like, just getting comfortable with the camera and really talking. And I mean, I speak, I preach at church and whatnot, but that's like a completely different, I feel like, style of speaking and genre of speaking, which is this podcasting thing. As we move forward, of course, my plan is to have guests, to have people on here, and to really grow this thing, see what we can do. Yeah, man. Hope y'all have a great week. Have a great week. Get some stuff done. All that. What else? Anything else? Anything else? I think that's it. I think that's it for this week. Eggs. Eggs. If you have been following the news too, people posting about eggs. I didn't even know the prices were, going up so crazy, but apparently I don't really go food shopping yet, but prices of eggs are apparently crazy. And that whole situation is sketchy too. I've seen a lot of videos talking about, you know, that the eggs weren't laying and then they switched the food and then they started laying after that. Sketchy stuff. And then, that is a concern, right? I kind of going back to the point about the Bible and whatnot, says famine. And I think especially maybe 10, 20 years ago, when you're reading the Bible, you're thinking, okay, how is all this stuff going to happen? Right? Wars and rumors of wars. What is that? How is that going to happen? Right? The world's getting more interconnected. Um, the world, globalization, trade, economy, all that stuff, it's all getting more interconnected. How in the world are we going to see war? How in the world is all this going to happen? Starting to take place, famine. How is that going to happen? Well, war probably plays a part into famine. Um, and then you're seeing all this stuff, these food manufacturer place farms. You're seeing a lot of these places just catch fire. I mean, I honestly haven't looked into all that too much, the causes of fire, how they're catching fire, whatever. I think last I saw there was like something 30 like chicken things, coops, whatever, barns burned down in the U.S. And I mean, I think 2023 might be the year where the best gift you can get somebody is a chicken or something, rooster. If you want to give anybody a gift, you got a Valentine's Day coming up. Get your significant other a chicken to let them know you love them. um, but yeah, man, I think we'll wrap it up for this week and just try to be better next week. And we'll see how all this stuff goes, man. Exciting stuff. Excited for what's to come. And yeah, things are changing. I'm excited to be finishing up school. And I'm excited to talk about school. But I'm going to talk about it after I graduate. After I graduate. I don't want anyone coming from my head or, any professor failing me or something dumb like that for just saying what I'm going to say. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. That's officially wrapping up Risk It for the Biscuit episode 3. And see you guys next Monday for episode 4. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.